Hey there, the Houston Astros coming to Atlanta, and they do what they do. That's right, they win. Hunter Brown in a bend not break performance. Yordan Alvarez with a home run late, and the offense never gave up. After giving up the 4 runs, the relief pitchers settled in. This was a great win. Let's talk about this on tonight's Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett Htown Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we're your daily Astros podcast. My name is Htown Wheelhouse. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Htown Wheelhouse. You can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros. I'm flying solo tonight on this special Friday night edition of Locked On Astros. What a great win. A bend not break performance by Hunter Brown. Looked phenomenal. The kid stayed in after giving up 4 runs. We'll talk about that here in a second, the details, and make sure everydayers that you make Locked On Astros your first listen every single day. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope that y'all enjoyed that as much as I did. I started listening to the game over pickleball. I just took up pickleball this last week, and let me tell you, I have found a new sport that I absolutely love to play. It gets me outside. It gets me active. And boy, am I not in shape. I could not try out for the Astros. I could not even try out for a professional dodgeball team at this point. But I was listening to the game, and when I first started listening to it, the Astros got up. I mean, look, Mauricio Dubon reached on a throwing error. That was a great start to the game. Alex Bregman doubled on a sharp line drive, and then Mauricio Dubon scores. The Astros go up 1-0 in the top of the first inning. Then Yordan was hit by a pitch. You're like, now Jose Abreu is up. Jose Abreu, he has not been hitting with runners in scoring position. He gets up, strikes out swinging. Then Kyle Tucker lines out, and then Jeremy Pena strikes out swinging. So the Astros walk away in the first half of the first inning, top of the first inning, with only 1 run, where you would have liked to have gotten 2, 3, or 4 runs that inning. You did not. And what did the Braves do? They came in. Hunter Brown, I will say this, he did get squeezed. He should have gotten out of the inning sooner rather than later, but he ended up giving up a double to Ronald Acuna Jr. And then he came back with a strikeout. He saw, look, I just lost my place. So Austin Riley after this doubled and drove in Ronald Acuna. So that tied the game 1-1. So you had things going, everything going, it seemed like, for the Braves. Matt Olson struck out swinging, and then Austin Riley doubled. Sorry about that. I'd lost my place there. Then Sean Murphy walks. You get a mound visit, settle down, Hunter. It's not a big deal. Eddie Rosario strikes out. 2 outs. Okay, you're like 2 outs. No big deal. 2-1 game. Then Ozzie Albies gets up. He doubles. Austin Riley scores. Sean Murphy scores. Now it is 3-1. And Vaughn Grisham gets up. He singles. Ozzie Albies scores. It's 4-1 at Braves. Sam Hillard pops out. Now, here is the deal. In a performance like this, when a pitcher goes up and gives up 4 runs, you immediately start thinking, how long can Hunter Brown go? And you were wondering, what is Dusty Baker going to do in this situation? And we have seen Dusty Baker trust his young starters. He trusted Hunter Brown last year when he got into some trouble. And if this kid is going to be a future number 1 or number 2 starter, you've got to let him work out of tough situations. And so Hunter Brown, this is literally a classic bend but don't break performance. Let me show y'all some things that I picked up here from Hunter Brown. Looking on the screen, He threw 34 sliders, 30 knuckle curves, and only 29 four-seam fastballs, okay? His velocity, his max was 97.8. He averaged 96 miles per hour on the four-seam, 83.7 on the knuckle curve, and 92.1 on the slider. He topped out at 95.2 miles per hour. You like to see Hunter Brown getting that velocity, and we'll talk a little bit about Presley here in a second, because that was one of the concerns the last few starts, is his velocity down. So Solo Thought Sports says Brown has only had 11 career starts. It was a good learning lesson and teaching moments. That's correct. That's the thing about this situation. Dusty Baker trusts his guy. Hunter Brown, I don't know if y'all remember his last outing, how much emotion he showed on the mound. This kid, when he gets into trouble, he does not panic. I remember it was Joe Record. I cannot remember the pitcher off the top of my head, but one of the minor league hands talked about they had given up 5 runs in the first inning when they were in Corpus. And the pitching coach came out and said, look, kid, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And then he went out the next 6 innings and threw no hit ball. Well, after the Braves scored 4 runs, they didn't score a single run after that. They put zeros from innings 2 through 9. So you had Hunter Brown go in there, and he literally pitched 4 2/3 innings. Okay, he did not get the win, but he had 7 strikeouts. He only had 2 walks. All 4 runs were earned, but it was a bend, not break performance. Okay, Baton an inning in the third, Stanek an inning, Nery's an inning, Presley an inning, and his velocity was up. I like to look at when I talk about Stanek, and we'll get to the hitting in the second segment. I want to focus on the pitching right now, because this is key for us to look at and to pay attention to. Ryan Stanek, look at this. He threw 14 pitches total. He had his velocity going, 98.2 miles per hour on his four-seam, 89.9 on his splitter average, and 88.9 on his slider. He only threw 1 slider, but he threw 8 four-seam fastballs, 5 splitters. He got a strikeout. So you had every one of the pitchers record at least 1 strikeout. Hector Nery's recorded 2 strikeouts. This is the kind of performance that the Houston Astros had out of their bullpen and out of their starters on a day in and day out basis. And it is one of those things where you're wondering, is the bullpen going to turn the corner? I see y'all talking about Montero. MZ says, I'm glad Dusty didn't bring in Montero. Look, I think Montero is going to have a very short leash going forward until they get his struggles worked out. I really believe that Montero will be fine. He did sign that big contract. A lot of people are down on the Astros for doing that. Sometimes a contract like that doesn't break the team's finances, but you give that to them as a tip of the hat to what they've done for you. And so that's why some people are like, well, why didn't you sign Valdez as well? Or why in the heck haven't you signed Tucker? Again, I think Tucker is a guy that you've got to sign. But before we move forward, I want to talk to y'all about Gametime. Let me tell you about Gametime. This is an amazing app. It is for last-minute ticket deals. When I tell you that my son and I literally went to the Final Four last minute, we literally did, and we paid well under what most people paid around us that were sitting there. If you download the app, it's free to download, and use a promo code LOCKEDONMLB. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. You can buy tickets from any event, not just sporting events. You can go to plays. You can go to Broadway. You can go to ballet. I mean, whatever it is. If your lady wants to go to Cynthia Mitchell Wood's concert and sit on the lawn, they probably have tickets for that as well. Forget planning for months. You can wait till the last minute. Flash deals and the Gametime guarantee means that you'll always have the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. That's right. So buy tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. So right now, download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Okay, now, boys and girls, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's talk about this offense. Let's talk about this offense. Let's talk about this guy right here, Yordan Alvarez. Hey, Yordan, how you doing? He came in huge, but not just Yordan. We had Mr. Julks come in there. We had Mauricio Dubon come in there. Even Jake Myers got a part in there. Even Alex Bregman. And I don't have poor Yanner Diaz. I don't have Yanner Diaz's picture. But these guys were absolutely just raking when they were up to the plate. You know, Dubon got it started and Bregman did as well. And then when you get to later in the game, Corey Julks had a single early in the game. Yanner Diaz was in there. He ended up grounding out in the second inning. You're like, oh, come on, what's going to happen? Well, things didn't go their way offensively until late in the inning, okay? Until late in the game, until the seventh inning. So you get to the seventh inning, and you have Corey Julks gets a walk. There's a pitching change. Elder leaves. Jesse Chavez comes in. Then Yanner Diaz doubles on a sharp fly ball to right field. Then he went to third. And I think they ended up calling it a triple because right here, I'm sitting here looking at Jim Rome's tweet, and he says Yanner Diaz's first major league triple and Jake Myers' opposite field single have the Astros within a run. So that brought them to a Jake Myers singles and Diaz scored that brings them to 3-4. And then what do you know? Mauricio Dubon comes in and hits a double, scores Jake Myers. They tie it up. And then Bregman walked. Alvarez popped out. Abreu flied out. Tucker was called out on strikes. Now, if you go back and you look at the strike zone and you look at what these umpires were seeing or not seeing, they missed a lot of pitches. I don't think that big 4-run inning happens if Hunter Brown gets some better calls because he got some really bad calls. I believe Acuna should have been out on his at bat. But look, Diaz and Julks every day. I love this. I'm wondering how much more playing time Diaz is going to get. Whenever Diaz is in there, guys and girls, the Astros win. I mean, the Astros absolutely win the day when he is in there. So let's look at this performance by this team. Let's look at who did what. All right. Dubon 3 for 5. Alex Bregman 2 for 4. Yordan Alvarez 1 for 4. We'll get to his home run in a second. Julks 2 for 3. Diaz 1 for 4. Myers 2 for 4. Myers is hitting 250 right now. Myers is hitting 250. Jeremy Pena is hitting 200. Jeremy Pena is the low man on the totem pole. Jeremy Pena cannot hit a breaking pitch to save his life. Kyle Tucker was 0 for 4 tonight. Jose Abreu was 0 for 4. So the middle of the lineup, the 4, 5, and 6 hitter were 0 for. They were 0 for 12. But that's why you have a 1 through 9. That's why you have veterans and rookies, and everybody comes to the ballpark to contribute. That's why this team is not just built on the fact that Altuve and Brantley are out. Okay. Look, Brennan, you might be right. And if Jake Myers, 2021 Jake Myers is back, then Chas McCormick has got his work cut out for him. And maybe the blessing in disguise for this Chas McCormick being out, and we don't want anybody to be hurt, we don't want anybody to miss time, is that if it provides opportunity for someone else to play, like Jake Myers, who had lost his position because of an injury, you want that. You absolutely want that. Now, this is what we've got to do. We've got to temper our excitement just a little bit. I'm not trying to throw a wet blanket on the party. I'm not trying to be a party pooper. But we are how many games into the season? We are 20 games into the season. 15 of those, Mauricio Dubon started, and I think Julks 15. Dubon started almost every game. But these young guys, or these guys that are having these like really breakout kind of beginning of the season, let's see where we are towards the end of the season. Some people are saying, well, Corey Julks should be everyday left fielder. Well, you got Michael Brantley coming back. And Michael Brantley, here's news on him. He will be having a rehab start at Sugarland on Sunday. So if you can get tickets to the game on Sunday, I'm telling you, if you've never been to a Space Cowboys game, you got to go. But you have to like what you have, because if all of a sudden Myers becomes a major player for the center field position, if all of a sudden Corey Julks becomes a guy that you can't turn down a spot in left field, if Mauricio Dubon is hitting the way he's hitting, he's not taking Altuve's position, but now you have a legitimate utility guy that is dependable, that you could bring him in. He could play short. He could play second. And you know what? Pena might need a rest a day or two. I'm just saying, he's not the best shortstop, Mauricio Dubon, but his bat is there. It's so great to see. But when the Astros got up there, okay, let me do this. Let me talk about Ultimate Baseball GM, because Dana Brown, I think, has made some great moves. I know he's been criticized a little bit, but let me talk about Yordan Alvarez here in a second. And just know that this episode is brought to you by Ultimate Baseball GM. Ultimate Baseball GM is this really fun game. I love it. Go to probaseballgm.com and you'll get 100% free boost when you use a promo code Locked On. If you've ever dreamed of being a Major League Baseball GM, then this is the game for you. It's free and easy to download. You can play it offline. You can play online with people. You can make a league. You can even use the real teams in Major League Baseball. You can be the Astros. You can be, heck, I don't know, the Mets. You can be the Orioles. Whoever you want to be. You can hire the coaches. You can manage the team finances, which I'm not the guy to come to for advice on that. Navigate your franchise through free agency, through the ups and the downs. International draft, you get to draft players, and it's really cool sometimes when you draft, like your first or second picks are always, the fans are excited because he's a future star. You can get international players from the Dominican, from Japan, from all over the globe. You can personalize it and make it your game. So let me tell you this. If you go to probaseballgm.com, Ultimate Baseball GM, you can start your dynasty today. And when you use a promo code Locked On in the game store, you'll get a 100% free boost. That's right, a 100% free boost. Tell them that Htown Wheelhouse sent you. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to tell them that physically, but anywhere if there's a comment in there, say, yeah, man, Locked On Astros guys talk about this game all the time. And let me just apologize to everybody tonight. I'm not able to get as many comments up on here when I am going solo. So I am not ignoring you. I'm rolling through this. I'm seeing your comments and I'm trying to interject what y'all are saying and commenting on, so that when those listening that haven't seen this channel, they can go, oh, maybe I'll go to YouTube and check it out, because we would love to feature what you have to say. He says, Nick O says, Brett, the hats, man. Where can I get it? So this hat is going to be a hat from ATGLA, but they're sold out of these hats. I even looked to see if I could go buy a couple others, because people are always wanting one. They don't have these right now. They may re-release them. So I love the snapback on this. All right. So let's get focused. Top of the ninth. Okay. Top of the ninth. You have, let me get back here to all the plays so we can get a full recap here. The Astros are tied with the Braves going to the ninth inning. You're in Atlanta. They've got the tomahawk chop and all those things going on. So what happens? You have Jake Myers pops out to the shortstop, Vaughn Grisham. Okay. Mauricio Dubon gets up, and what does he do? He singles on the ground ball to the left fielder, Kevin Pillar. Then Alex Bregman lines out to Kevin Pillar. Kevin Pillar makes a great stab, just lays out and gets it. And then all of a sudden, guess what happens? A balk. I'm not talking about the home run yet. A left-handed pitcher who is facing first base makes a move to first, and for some reason doesn't even realize his first baseman's not at first, so he holds on to the ball. So Dubon gets to second. So now the pressure's up even more. Now the pitcher is like, oh, crap, I have got to get my stuff together, because if I don't, Yordan Alvarez is going to score this guy. All Yordan Alvarez would have to do is hit an opposite field single, and Dubon scores and they take the lead. So it's not necessarily famine or feast. This isn't a must home run situation. But his first pitch was a ball, 97 miles an hour. Then he threw 3 straight strikes. He had a called strike. He fouled 2 off. Those were all cutters. Then he throws ball 2, a 97.1 mile an hour four seam. Then he throws ball 3, he gets a full count, 89.5 cutter, and everything he threw him was away except for that 5th pitch. And then he throws him another cutter, but he puts it right in the middle of the zone over the outer third of the plate. And wouldn't you know, he drives this ball 405 feet with an exit velocity of 105.5 miles per hour, 33-degree launch angle over the 6-foot wall in right center field, and they go up 6-4. I mean, you want to talk about, this is the moment Yordan was made for. And getting Dubon to second was some cause. It's like you look at cause and effect, okay? What was the cause and what did it affect? Him getting to second helped, because now the pitcher has got to think about, what do I do now? Because he knows Yordan can hit all over the field. You're right. Diana M says, I'm so surprised he didn't just walk him. I'm sure glad he didn't. Look, if I'm in that situation and if I know that all I need to do is get this guy out and Abreu's coming up, and the way Abreu's been hitting, Abreu has struck out 10 of the 20 times that he's been up with runners in scoring position. Walk Yordan and then pitch to Abreu. I know Abreu's like a lifetime going into the season 311 hitter with runners in scoring position, but that is an absolute walk situation, and they didn't do it. So they go into the dugout. They change it up. They get the third out. Jose Abreu lines out sharply to left field. Kevin Pillar was getting peppered tonight. He was getting some fielding practice. Ryan Presley comes in the 9th. Sam Hillard grounds out to Ryan Presley. He gets there, makes the play. Then Kevin Pillar walks. And one thing we noticed was his velo is back up. So let's look at Presley's. Oh, did I put it on here? I know I have Presley's. Anyways, I don't have the graphic here with me, but Ryan Presley's velocity was up like 2 miles per hour. His pitches. So he ticked up tonight. His velo is back up. He walked Kevin Pillar. He was throwing 94.6, 94.9 to Pillar. And then Ronald Acuna gets up, which is a huge strikeout, obviously. 90 mile per hour slider, 82 mile an hour curveball, 95.6 mile an hour four seam. And then you got a swinging strike on a 91.5 mile an hour slider. So you have 2 outs then, and then you get Matt Olson up. Matt Olson flies out to center fielder Jake Myers, and the Astros win the game. But he got up to 96, 97 miles per hour. So they closed it out with a great performance all around. And I didn't even talk about Alex Bregman early on a whole lot. He got in the mix. He was in there. He was kind of cleaning things up. But this is an exciting game. And here's what I want to take away from this game. Hunter Brown, I'm going to keep saying it. It was a bend, not break performance. After he gave it the 4 runs, he absolutely locked in, and this kid threw 7 strikeouts. For a young pitcher to get in that kind of trouble, and the other pitcher on the other side only giving up 1 run, now the pressure's on, because coming in, they were both 2-0. Coming in, they were both sub-2 ERA. Now his ERA is like right above 3, but he only pitched 4 2/3 innings. And then you had the Braves pitcher, Elder, who's still 1.14 because he went 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, and only gave up 1 run. So it was the Braves bullpen that ruined the game. And it was the Astros starting pitching, faltering, correcting the relief pitchers coming in and pitching solid baseball, pitching to contact, throwing strikes, and they didn't give up a run. What an amazing game, because playing Atlanta right now, the Atlanta Braves are now 14-6. They were 14-5 coming into this game. The Astros are now at 500, and I'm sorry, I'm going to dance on it, and I'm going to dunk on them a little bit because Rangers fans have been really annoying me lately. But I believe the Rangers, while we were finishing the show, lost to the Oakland A's. Oakland A's are 4-16 on the year. And I want to talk a little bit about that before I close out the show. Because so right now it's Texas at 12-7, Houston at 10-10, the Angels at 9-10, the Mariners at 8-10, 8-11, and Oakland at 4-16. It was announced a couple days ago that Oakland will be purchasing land to build a stadium in Las Vegas. And the first thing I did was I went and checked on my friend Jason over at Locked On Athletics. Jason just became a credentialed media member this year. He's been covering this team, been watching this team his whole life. So put yourself in his shoes, and it sucks because now these fans will not have a team to root for. These fans will not, and it's not the players' fault. It's the ownership. The ownership was absolute dog water these last few years, would not get that city a new stadium. And I know Oakland and California has their economic issues, but I just felt for my friend because I was like, I remembered when we lost the Oilers and I wasn't super heartbroken about that, but I can't ever imagine losing the Astros. Can you imagine losing the Astros? Like, I told him, I said, if the Astros left Houston, I would move. I would move to wherever they went. I couldn't live in a city where I didn't have my team. And you're right, Brendan. Vegas should have been an expansion team. That's right. I like that. Not a current team moving. And look, it's the ownership. And I feel bad for the A's fans. And I know everybody's been dunking on and say, well, they only get $11,000 per. Well, the ownership keeps shipping off their talent. They just dismantled the team last year. They had no intentions of staying. So just be thankful. Look, we're 10-10 right now. We've done a lot of panicking. I know I myself, Htown Wheelhouse, have done a lot of talking about, put up the gold jerseys. We're not ready to rain. And because I guess I've been disappointed at the inconsistency. But you and I have to remind each other and hold each other accountable in this dogfight. 2023 is going to be tougher than 2022. These bumps and bruises are going to continue to happen. And that's okay. It's going to make us stronger, right? Is there going to be a stream tomorrow? I do not think we're going to do one tomorrow because I will be going to watch the fight at a local establishment. I put it in the chat earlier. I don't want to say it right now, but we're working on a sponsorship with a certain restaurant, local sponsorship, and I'm talking to a place out west in Katy called the Home Run Dugout. I'm working on plans right now to do a live show at the Home Run Dugout. It's a new place where it's basically like Top Golf for baseball nerds. It's got like this wiffle ball or this ball that comes out of the ground and you hit it onto a screen and you can choose any stadium to hit a home run in. And then they have a wiffle ball field. So we're going to do that. It's going to be awesome. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. 151 of y'all. Holy crap. Y'all are the best. Like, we absolutely love every single one of y'all, even when we disagree with you. And even when you disagree with us, we love it because that's what makes the world go round. We all have one common goal. We want to see the Houston Astros win a World Series. We want to have fun because baseball is the best sport on the planet. My name is Htown Wheelhouse. Make sure that you're an everydayer. Please listen to our podcast on Apple, Google, or Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. You will get to meet us someday, Josh. We're going to be doing a live at Home Run Dugout. When I get the date nailed down, I'll let y'all know. We'll also be doing some lives at Hooters around the area when we get all that stuff. So it should be fun. You should have several opportunities. Next time we're at a game, I'll be at the April 30th game, Sunday Night Baseball versus the Phillies. I'll let you know. Come meet me at the Budweiser Plaza or St. Arnold's in left field. Let's hang out. Love you guys too. Thank y'all so much. I'll answer one more question before I go. Brett, would you move up Jolks? Would you move Jolks up and move Abreu down? Look, Abreu just needs talking to. Like, dude, start hitting the damn ball. Just go out there and hit the ball. Quit like dropping off. Quit like do what we're paying you to do. 30-something million to do. I mean, look, if Jolks is having success where he's at, don't move him. Pena, absolutely leave him. Abreu needs to move up. I think Tucker and Alvarez need to be back to back. So that's all I got tonight. Thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. Remember, we're your team every day. And just know that anytime you have a question or a wonder or a fear about the Houston Astros, you can always come here. Because why? Because we got you covered. This is another edition, a special late night Friday edition of a winning Houston Astros baseball club. Every day, y'all have a good one. I'm Htown Wheelhouse. Y'all have a great weekend and be safe. We'll talk soon.